Hello and welcome to Andra Berghout Academy, an online school which is especially designed for medical professionals who want to practice all over the planet. Today we are discussing about Ielts academic, an examination which is also necessary to doctors, nurses, dentists, and pharmacists who would like to work in the UK, Ireland, Australia, recently in the United States as well, but also to students who would like to be admitted to international universities. Our target today is IELTS reading, and maybe it is good to tell you that IELTS reading is made out of 3 parts. It consists mainly of 3 parts. Sometimes they can be 4 texts, increasing in difficulty from 1 to 3 or exceptionally from 1 to 4. You will need to answer 40 questions, which will include completion from sentence completion, open-ended tasks, true, false, not given task, yes, no, not given, and so on. Today we have chosen a sentence completion and true, false, not given task because the later one is one of the most difficult tasks that students or candidates encounter in this exam. So I would leave my colleague Mihaela to explain further. Hello, Mihaela.
Hello.
Welcome. Tell us a bit more about what you prepared for us today.
Well, we prepared the text, as you can probably see it already, crop growing skyscrapers. The 2 tasks, sentence completion and false, true and not given, are quite specific to IELTS, and we'll work on strategies for both of these 2 types of exercises. And you will see what you have to do and how you have to approach these type of exercises, especially the one false, true and not given, since you already mentioned that is one of the most difficult ones. Okay, well, first, when you start the reading test, the first thing that you'll have to do is look at the heading of the text. So crop growing skyscrapers, what do you think that means? What do you think the text will be about?
It's about
farming,
growing in skyscrapers or on skyscrapers.
Okay, so growing plants and growing crops in skyscrapers.
Yes.
If you can predict or at least decide on the topic of the text, it's easier then for you to understand the whole structure of the text maybe, or just to understand the main idea of the text. So that's the first thing that you have to do. It has to take you less than a second. And if you look at the first exercise, you always start with the exercise. You don't have time to read the text, any of the 3 or 4 texts in IELTS. Therefore, you have to always rely on the questions, rely on the words that you have in the questions, and we will see together how you will do that. You have 1.5 minutes for each question, each of the 40 questions in the whole test. Therefore, you have to work with some strategies and some time management in order to be able to complete the 40 questions in 60 minutes. So if you look at the first exercise, the sentence completion, you have, I'll quickly show you on the screen as well, the first exercise. You have the instructions. You have to choose no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. And this is what it looks like. You have a gap. The first thing you have to do is you have to read the first statement with the gap. You'll have to also try to figure out, to estimate what type of word, or maybe the word, the exact word that you might find in the text to fill the sentence. Juliana, can you please read the first sentence?
Some food plants, including ... are already growing indoors.
Okay. What type of words do you think you'll need here?
Some vegetable, no? Like potato or tomato?
No.
No?
a noun, and first of all a
yeah.
noun, and then it will be a vegetable, most
Yeah.
probably. Okay, so I'm going to show you the text now. You have the exercises.
Okay.
Okay, look at the exercise. We have to choose the specific word in the sentence, in the statement. Some food plants, including blank, are already grown indoors. The specific word here that you will use to scan the text are food plants, and also maybe indoors. But you have to rely firstly on food plants, and you will have to scan the text. To scan the text means that you have to look through the text. You don't read anything. You have to just look through the text, through the lines of the text to find food plants. You might find food plants. You might actually find another word that is a synonym, or it's a word with a similar meaning to food plants. So look at the first paragraph. Is it here?
No.
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 Okay, I'll show you the second paragraph.
Yes.
Yes, it is there.
Which word did you find?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes, yeah.
Okay, tomatoes would be a vegetable. Now, do you think it's the word that you have to use to complete the sentence?
Yes.
Okay, it could be. You have to read now the sentence that contains the word tomatoes. You also have other produce. Other produce would be the paraphrasing of some food plants from your sentence. Produce meaning products, or things that are grown, things that are developed, manufactured. Now, tomatoes is the right word for the first sentence, because you now have that indoor farming, for example, tomatoes and other produce has already been in vogue for some time. So meaning that that would be the word that you have to use for the first sentence. Okay, I think that was fairly easy. So let's see the second one. Carmen, can you read the second sentence?
Hold on. I lost my screen. Vertical farms will be allocated in, meaning that way would be less need to take them long distance to customers.
Okay, the specific word here that you will use to scan would be vertical farms, because the whole sentence is about vertical farms. And you might also need to look for long distances to customers. Most probably vertical farms is used in the text exactly like that. So most probably it's not paraphrased, which is a very good thing. So if you can get words or expressions in this exercise that are most likely not paraphrased in the text, those are the best ones to scan, because you don't have to think of a synonym or an antonym to the specific word that you choose in the sentence. So we will look for vertical farms first, and then once you find it in the text, I'll show you. Once you find it in the text, you have to read before and after the specific word to understand if that phrase or that sentence talks about the same thing as your statement. Okay, the fact that it will take less distance, or it will be on a shorter distance to take it to customers. So let's look at, this is the second paragraph where you found tomatoes, and it continues on the right side.
Yes.
Located in the
Vertical
We
farm.
find it.
You found vertical farms.
Yes.
yeah, I found the word.
Okay. Now, what do you think is the word or the words that you need to fill the sentence?
Urban centers.
Urban centers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does everybody agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's urban centers. Okay, so you have vertical farms. here. We need to be efficient, cheap, but then you have to read before that and see that urban centers would drastically reduce the amount of transportation required to bring food to consumers, which would be the answer to your question.
Okay.
Okay, let's see number 3. Claudio, can you read the third one?
Yeah, vertical farms could use methane from plants and animals to produce.
Okay, we've already used vertical farms, so you now know in which paragraph and where they speak about vertical farms, but you also need methane. Okay, you need that word because you've already used vertical farms and you don't know exactly if it's in the same paragraph or not. Let's use the same paragraph still, but use methane as well to see if that would be where you find the information. Is it here?
No.
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 No. Okay, I'll scroll up. Look at the third paragraph on the right side.
No.
No.
Okay.
But I think I found the word.
No.
I find it.
You found method?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
Generation.
Yes, I find it.
your sentence was vertical farms could use methane from plants and animals to produce what?
Energy. Energy.
Energy. Can you read the sentence where you found the answer?
Just a second because I lost it.
Although.
That although the system would consume energy, it would return energy to the grid via methane generation from composing non-edible parts of plant.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah,
that's the
that.
sentence. Can everybody see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4. Natasha, can you read the fourth one?
Yes. The consumption of will be cut because agricultural vehicles will be unnecessary.
Okay. We have the word consumption, most likely that's not paraphrased in the text. We also have agricultural vehicles. That would be a very important expression to use because you either find the word vehicles or machines or equipment in the text, or you either find the name of those agricultural vehicles. Can you please find those?
I think I did.
Okay.
Tractors, I think.
I do not find those.
I don't find it as well.
Me neither.
It's not here.
I found the fossil fuel use. That should be part of the.
That should be part of the answer. Well, if you look at the end of the paragraph 4, where you found methane, you
Okay.
have the need for tractors, plows, and shipping.
Why?
The end of the paragraph, the
Yeah,
same
yeah, I found
paragraph
it.
that we were looking at earlier.
Oh, finally.
Okay, so those would be the those would be the agricultural vehicles that would become unnecessary. So now it's the consumption of what would be cut?
Fossil fuel.
Fossil
Tractors.
fuel. Right. So dramatically reduced fossil fuel would be the consumption of fossil fuel would be cut. Right? Same,
Yes.
different words, same meaning.
Okay.
Yes.
Number 5. Andrea, can you read number 5?
Yeah, the fact that vertical farms will need light is a disadvantage.
First of all, you have the word light, which is a noun. And before that, you have a gap. Most likely, the word before a noun would be an a what?
Adjective.
An adjective, right? So you need now to find an adjective. So you need to find the disadvantage of vertical farms. And I'll show you actually, I don't have to move the text at all. You just have to find now the
Artificial.
disadvantage.
It's natural.
Artificial.
Where is that? Where did you find it?
I guess it's on the top, on the other paragraph. It won't show there.
It's not here.
No,
Okay, is it here?
no. It's just back, roll back.
I won't go back.
Is the with light reaching in from above. It is not certain, however, that it can be made to work without that overhead natural light.
Give me a synonym for disadvantage from the text. Find a synonym of the word disadvantage.
Detrimental impact.
Oh, I found it.
What?
Artificial light.
Okay,
Wrong.
give me a synonym for the word disadvantage.
Drawback.
Drawback, right. So if you chose disadvantage as a specific word for vertical farms, okay, you would have to then find a synonym of the word disadvantage. Most likely the words advantage, disadvantage would be found in the text in a different form. So you probably not find disadvantage or advantage because they are very, very easily paraphrased. So we have the beginning of this paragraph at the bottom, a major drawback of vertical farming. Plants would require artificial light. So the word for number 5 is artificial. It would definitely help you if you know the type of word that you have to find when you have to complete a sentence or a summary, or you have to give an answer to a question, because then you know what you're looking for. It reduces the time and it reduces your process of thinking as well. Let's look at number 6. David, can you read 6?
One form of vertical farming involves planting in blank, which are not fixed.
Okay, what would be the specific information that you would choose from the sentence?
It may be a location.
What would be the specific word that you choose from the sentence to scan the text?
One form.
One form of vertical farming, okay. That would be a good one. We've already used vertical farming, but there isn't really another one. Maybe planting in a certain location or in a certain form, or with a certain method, I don't know, that you'll find in the text, which are not fixed. So which are not fixed can be very, very easily paraphrased in the text. So I'll show you the text. So please find here one form of vertical farming.
One variation. on vertical farming.
Where?
I found one variation on vertical farming. That means a form of vertical farming, is it?
Yes. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Okay, it's this paragraph, this little paragraph here. Okay. What do you think is the answer?
I think the answer will be
Planting in
stacked trays.
small trays.
Stacked trays.
Stacked trays.
Okay. In the question, the sentence you had which are not fixed. What does the text say?
Which are not fixed.
Not fixed.
That move on rails.
Rails.
That move on rails. Okay, that would be a synonym expression. Okay, so the answer for 6 is stacked trays or just trays?
Is any wrong if I put stacked trays or trays?
No. No, trays is the most important word. If you use the adjective of that noun as well, that's fine. As long as you don't exceed the number of required words. So you can only use 2, you can't choose 3.
Okay.
And also you have to copy the words exactly as they are in the text. You are not allowed to modify your answers in any way, because the sentences would be definitely written in such a way that the exact word from the text would fit and the sentence would make sense. Okay, now number 7. Diana, can you read number 7, please?
Yes, the most probable development is that food will be grown on in towns and cities.
Okay, we have the most probable development. Most probably it won't be like that in the text, okay, but it's quite easy to find a synonym for this expression. And you also have in towns and city. Now, definitely it has to speak about the future. Most likely that would be the last paragraph of a text or towards the end of the text. So I'll show you now the last paragraph.
Yeah, I found it.
Grown in skyscrapers.
Urban rooftops.
Okay, skyscrapers or rooftops? Which one?
Urban rooftops.
Why?
On, we have the on available. On.
Okay, on rooftops and not in skyscrapers.
Because of on.
I think it's rooftops,
Why do you think it's rooftops?
because it says in the question most probable development, and it's saying in the text more likely that we will.
Is far more likely would be a synonym expression to the most probable development. So then you have to choose, you have to look at vocabulary and language. Therefore, you have to choose rooftops or urban rooftops, because that's what's far more likely, that we will use the space available on rooftops. Okay? Is everybody okay?
Yeah.
Okay, next exercise. False, true, and not given. I'll quickly show you the exercise. You have to figure out if the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage 1. If the statement is true, it means that the statement agrees with the information in the text. If the statement is false, means that the statement contradicts the information in the text. If it's not given, it means that there is no information on this. About not given, Generally, these statements have two parts. We'll talk about the two parts in the statement. For you to figure out whether it's true or false, both parts need to be found in the text. If you can't find both parts in the text, it means that it's not given. You can find one of them, but you can't find the other one, it's still not given. You can't find any of them, it's not given. If you find both elements of the statement in the text, then you have to figure out if it agrees or it contradicts the text. So let's look at the first number 8. Well, I'll read it. Methods for predicting the Earth population have recently changed. We have predicting the Earth population, which is one element, and methods have changed the second element. I'm going to show you the text, and you have to tell me if you can find both of them in the text. Look at the first paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess what?
It's false.
Why?
Because it's applying to the most conservative estimate. So what is conservative means it's to the same. The method remains the same.
I also think it's false. Because it says by year 2050, and in the question it says has recently changed.
Who has recently changed?
Methods predicting Earth's population. Methods predicting has recently changed. So it's talking about the present, and in the text it's talking about the future.
So that means it's false.
I think it's false.
Do you think that what the text says is the same or different from the statement? Do you really think that conservative estimates or applying the most conservative estimates to current demographic trends is the same as methods have changed?
It's not given.
Well, I guess that only by figuring out that I insist too much on the statement is not false. Therefore, it is not given because it's not the same. It doesn't talk about changing methods or changing anything to estimating. It talks about increasing population, but it doesn't talk about the fact that we have now different methods to predict how the population will, the number of the people will change. So it's not given. It just says that we estimate that the population will increase by about 3 billion people by 2050. Let's look at number 9. Juliana, can you read number 9, please?
Yes, human beings are responsible for some of the destruction of food production.
Producing land.
Producing, yeah.
Okay, the two elements here are human beings are responsible and the destruction to food producing land. So you have to figure out if you can find both of them. Find human beings are.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can they use synonyms in these questions too?
Yes, synonyms. Of course. They always use synonyms. 90% of the time.
Okay.
I won't change the paragraph.
This is true.
Why?
Because at present, throughout the world, over 80% of the land that is suitable for raising crops, it's in use. Historical, some 15% of that has been laid waste by poor management practices.
Okay, so the destruction to food producing land is has a similar meaning to poor management practices to the land that is suitable for raising crops.
Yeah, but the question says if the human beings are responsible, so the pure management practices was done by people.
Right. So the statement is true.
Yeah.
Poor management, meaning that the people who actually use the land, don't really do a very good job. Okay, number 10. Natalia, can you read number 10, please?
The crops produced in vertical farms will depend on the season.
Okay, we have two elements. Crops in vertical farms and crops will depend on the season. So I'm going to show you the paragraph. Here, scan for season or a similar word to season.
She should be. I've seen the paragraph before. It should be like crops can be produced all year round.
Okay. I want you to tell me the exact sentence where it says that that they depend on the season.
There would be no weather-related crop failure.
Yes. How's the statement then?
False.
True or false? False. I mean, it contradicts the text. The statement says that will depend on the season. The text says that there will be no weather-related crop failures, meaning that the crops will not depend on weather.
Yes.
Okay, statement 11. Andrea Soare, can you please read it?
Some damage to food crops is caused by climate change.
Climate change.
Climate change.
Okay, we have damage to food crops and climate change. So I won't change the text. And I still want you to tell me the exact phrase in the text that talks about climate change or that the damage to crops due to climate change.
It doesn't say.
Doesn't show.
About the. It only says about the undoubted problems that we faced in producing enough food for growing population.
Does everybody agree?
It could be the same one as earlier. There would be no weather-related like droughts, floods, or pests. It's climate change, like floods, drought.
Mm-hmm.
Which says that.
Yes. So it says that there would be no weather-related crop failures due to droughts, floods. Okay, that would be the climate change, because a drought would definitely be a change from a normal weather, let's say, to a very dry weather. So if there will be no failures due to droughts, it means that some crops can actually be damaged by droughts or floods. So there is a sort of harm done by the climate, due to climate change. So the statement is?
True.
Is true, yes. Okay, next one, number 12. David, can you read 12?
Fertilizers will be needed for certain crops in vertical farms.
Okay, you have the need of fertilizers and certain crops in vertical farms. You should fairly easy find the word fertilizers.
Oh, I got it. I found it.
Fertilizers is a word that is most likely not paraphrased in the text, so you will find it exactly as it is. Did everybody find it?
Yeah, I found it.
Found it, yes.
Okay, what does it say about needing fertilizers?
He's saying all food could be grown organically, eliminating the need for herbicides, pesticides, and fertilizers.
So how is the statement then?
False.
I think it's false.
False.
It's false, right?
False.
Because it definitely contradicts the text.
Because
Okay.
in the text is saying could be grown, or eliminating the need for, and in here it says will be needed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good. And the last one, Claudio, can you read the last one?
Yeah, vertical farming will make plants less likely to be affected by infectious diseases.
Okay, we have vertical farming making plants somehow. Then you have affected by infectious diseases. So let's find infectious diseases in the text. Another phrase that most likely is the same in the text.
Oh, there we go. The system will greatly reduce the incidence of many
The
infections.
next one.
How's the statement then?
True.
Do we agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so would reduce the incidence of infectious diseases, the same as the statement less likely to be affected by. Okay, well, this is the end of the exercise. What do you think of the second exercise?
Was it so difficult, or as the legend said?
You have guidance at the moment.
But everything starts with some guidance. And at one moment, we are going to be able to manage ourselves, of course.
You'll be your own
So
guide.
was it that difficult?
No.
True, false, not given.
Not given.
Not given yet. Okay. Thank you very much for your participation. I hope everybody has understood. And if you have any questions, you are free to ask them on our email address, contact@andreaberekhout.com. Looking forward to seeing you next time when we will discuss some OET. Sorry, I have OET running around my head. Some Ielts writing. Yes. So see you next week. Take care of you